My CEO canceled her wedding and came to my house at midnight, she said. I wanted to say I love you. Neon lights from the streets reflected on the glass windows of his small living room, painting everything in shades of blue and pink. He leaned back on his chair and let out a long sigh. Another long day at work. Another day of coding, debugging, and hoping that the project he was secretly proud of would actually make a difference. The project, an advanced AI meant to help solve energy crises, was top secret. Only a few people in the company knew the full extent of it. Arjun had been working on it for months, quietly testing algorithms, designing security protocols, and sometimes just staring at lines of code for hours, hoping that inspiration would strike. He had always loved puzzles, and this AI was the biggest puzzle he had ever faced. He yawned and got up, stretching his stiff muscles. Just as he was about to head to the kitchen for a cup of tea, a soft but sharp knock echoed through the apartment. 1, 2, 3 quick knocks. Arjun froze. At this hour, visitors were unusual. He lived alone and the building was mostly empty at night. He approached the door cautiously and peered through the peephole. To his absolute shock, standing outside was Ms. Meera Kapoor, the CEO of his company. Her elegant suit and composed posture looked completely out of place on the dimly lit street. Her eyes met his through the glass, wide and anxious, unlike her usual confident self. "Meera," he whispered, barely believing it. What are you doing here?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she knocked again, this time slightly harder. "Arjun, please, I need to talk to you. It's important." Arjun hesitated. His mind raced. The CEO visiting him at midnight. Something serious had to have happened. Finally, he unlocked the door and opened it just enough to let her in. Meera stepped inside, looking around quickly as if she feared someone might be following her. She closed the door softly behind her. "Thank you for letting me in," she said, her voice low and hurried. "I shouldn't have come like this, but I didn't know where else to go." Arjun led her to the couch. "Sit down," he said, still in shock. It's very late. What's going on?" She sank into the couch and took a deep breath. "I canceled my wedding tonight." Arjun blinked. "Your wedding? But I thought it was all set. Everyone was talking about it." She shook her head. "It was supposed to be a cover. I didn't actually want to go through with it." Her voice trembled slightly and she avoided his eyes. "I came here because I trust you, Arjun. Something is wrong with the project, something very wrong, and I couldn't tell anyone else." Arjun's heart started beating faster. He had expected late-night emails, urgent calls, maybe even a sudden audit. But this... The CEO herself standing in his living room looking scared. That was something he had never imagined. "Wrong how?" he asked cautiously, sitting down across from her. "What happened?" She leaned forward, her hands clenched. "There's a threat inside the company. Someone has infiltrated our AI project. Corporate spies. They're trying to take control of the AI before we can finish it. If they succeed, it could put humanity at a disadvantage we cannot afford." Arjun stared at her. He had heard about corporate espionage before, but this was next level. They want to steal the AI, but why? What's so special about it? "The AI isn't just a program, Arjun. It can manage energy distribution, control city grids, even make critical decisions during crises. Whoever controls it first could dominate entire nations. That's why they want it. That's why I trusted only you to help me protect it." A chill ran down Arjun's spine. This was bigger than he had imagined. He had been working late nights, thinking about coding problems, algorithms, and efficiency. He had never expected that what he was building could become the center of a high-stakes international game. What do you want me to do?" he asked quietly. "I want you to help me secure it, tonight." Mira's eyes met his, sharp and determined. "I couldn't risk telling the board or anyone else. They might already be compromised. You're the only one I can trust, Arjun." He nodded slowly. His mind was racing, but a strange sense of determination washed over him. All the hours he had spent coding, all the late nights, were about to matter in ways he had never expected. "Okay," he said, "tell me everything." She explained everything she knew. The AI project had a hidden backdoor, a vulnerability that could allow outsiders to manipulate it. The spies knew about it. If the backdoor was exploited, the AI could override human decisions and effectively put the city under the control of whoever held the code. Arjun's mind started spinning. "We need to find the backdoor first, and we need to act fast. Do you know where it is?" Mira shook her head. "It's encrypted. Only a few people in the company know its location, and I'm not one of them. But there's a series of clues hidden in the AI's data logs. You'll have to decipher them. And they're tricky." Arjun felt a thrill. Puzzles, codes, hidden messages. This was exactly the kind of challenge he loved. But the stakes were much higher than usual. This wasn't a competition in school anymore. This was about protecting millions of people. He turned to his computer. "Show me the logs. Let's see what we're dealing with." For the next few hours, they worked together. Mira provided context about the AI's programming and the company's internal security. Arjun scrolled through lines of code, patterns, and encrypted messages. Slowly, the pieces started to make sense. The backdoor was cleverly hidden, disguised as normal data flows and system checks. Whoever planted it had thought of everything, but they hadn't counted on a human noticing subtle irregularities. "This pattern here," Arjun pointed to a line of code, "it's too neat. Machines don't leave this kind of symmetry naturally. Someone tried to hide something in plain sight." Mira looked over his shoulder. "Can you decode it?" "I can try," Arjun said. He typed rapidly, running algorithms, checking sequences, and cross-referencing files. "It might take time, but I think we can find it before anyone else notices." Outside, the city was quiet, the streets glowing under the neon lights. Inside, the apartment felt like a war room. Two humans, armed only with intellect, determination, and trust in each other, were about to face threats far beyond their usual understanding. Hours passed. The AI was watching, monitoring, analyzing. Every keystroke, every move, every calculation mattered. Arjun's hands ached, his eyes burned, but he didn't stop. Mira stayed close, providing guidance, asking questions, and making connections that only a human with experience could make. Finally, as the first hint of dawn colored the skyline pink and orange, a pattern emerged. Arjun leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. "I think I've found it," he whispered. Mira's eyes widened. "The back door." "Yes, but it's protected by layers of encryption and logic traps. Anyone else trying to access it would trigger alarms, probably before they even got halfway through." She nodded. "Good. Then we have a chance, but we have to move quickly. They may already know we're onto them." Arjun took a deep breath. The gravity of the situation hit him. They were alone in a quiet apartment, but outside, powerful forces were moving. Forces that didn't care about morality, ethics, or the well-being of humans. All they cared about was control. But Arjun felt something else, something stronger. Human ingenuity, human courage. The ability to think creatively, to adapt, to see what a machine or a spy could not. Tonight it would be their greatest weapon. He looked at Mira, who seemed just as determined and anxious as he felt. "We can do this," he said quietly, "but we have to be smart and fast." She nodded, her usual composure returning, though softer now. "I trust you, Arjun, more than anyone else in the world." And with that, the night stretched ahead of them, long, dangerous, and full of puzzles, threats, and possibilities. Outside, the city continued to sleep, unaware that two humans were about to challenge forces far beyond their understanding. Arjun returned to his computer. The code glowed on the screen, lines moving like living things. He could feel the AI watching, calculating, anticipating. But he also knew something that no machine or spy could ever predict. Humans don't just follow logic, they think, imagine, and improvise. And that was exactly what they were going to do. The first part of the mission had begun. And the midnight knock that had seemed strange just hours ago had changed everything. The sun had barely risen, spilling pale light across the city's skyscrapers, when Arjun finally leaned back in his chair, exhausted but focused. He had spent the night tracing the AI's hidden backdoor. Each line of code, each cryptic pattern, had taken him closer to understanding the threat. But as the first birds chirped and the streets slowly came alive, he realized that finding the backdoor was only the beginning. Mira paced in the apartment, her heels clicking softly against the wooden floor. Her normally calm and composed demeanor had been replaced with tension. She was constantly checking the small window near the door, as if expecting someone to appear. "Arjun," she said suddenly, stopping in her tracks, "I just got a message on my secure line. Someone inside the company knows we're onto them. They're moving fast." Arjun's stomach tightened. "How fast?" "Fast enough that by the time we get the AI fully secure, they might already be inside our systems," Mira said. "They're not just trying to steal it, they're trying to control it completely." Arjun nodded grimly. The stakes were higher than ever. This wasn't just about protecting the company. This was about protecting the people who depended on their AI for energy, city management, and safety. If the wrong hands took control, chaos could spread quickly. "We need to move," he said, already packing a small bag with his laptop, power banks, and a few essential tools. "We can't stay here, they could be watching." Mira agreed. "I have a safe location, an old lab the company owns, unused for years. It's offline, no cameras, no network access. If we can reach it, we can work on the AI without being monitored." By mid-morning, they were out of the apartment and into the city streets. The morning rush was beginning, with hover cars and automated buses weaving through the lanes. People moved quickly, unaware that two humans were now running a race against time and technology. As they walked toward the transport hub, Arjun noticed something strange. Small drones, barely visible against the sunlight, hovered above rooftops. They were scanning, probably looking for signs of movement from him or Mira. "They're already watching," Arjun said quietly. "We have to be careful." Mira nodded. "We'll take side streets, stick to shadows. Humans are unpredictable. They can hide in ways machines cannot." They ducked into a narrow alley, avoiding the main thoroughfare. Arjun felt a thrill of fear mixed with excitement. This was no ordinary day at the office. This was a human versus machine chase, with lives and the future hanging in the balance. Halfway through the alley, a sudden movement caught Arjun's eye. A figure in a dark coat had emerged at the far end. It was too far to identify clearly, but the stance was deliberate, waiting. "Stay calm," Mira whispered. "If they see us panic, they'll know exactly where to look." Arjun took a deep breath and led them into a small side passage. They moved quickly but silently, ducking behind crates and vehicles. The figure didn't follow immediately. Whoever it was, they were patient, probably waiting for an automated signal or an AI alert. They reached the edge of the city's industrial district, a maze of warehouses and quiet streets. This was where Mira's safe lab was hidden, a forgotten building with reinforced doors and no active network connections. As they approached the building, a sudden alert buzzed in Arjun's portable device. The AI's security system had detected multiple unauthorized attempts to access the backdoor. Someone else was inside the company systems, probing, testing, trying to find the same hidden path Arjun had discovered. "They're faster than I thought," Arjun muttered. "We have to work quickly before they trigger any countermeasures." Mira led the way inside the lab, punching a code into the door's lock. The metal doors slid open with a hiss, revealing a room filled with dusty servers and old lab equipment. The place had been abandoned for years, but it was perfect. No cameras, no network connections, nothing to alert the spies or the AI to their presence. Inside, Arjun immediately set up his equipment, connecting his laptop to the lab's isolated servers. Mira hovered nearby, handing him notes, remembering details about the AI systems and providing insight into how the hidden backdoor might be exploited. Hours passed as Arjun worked, typing rapidly, analyzing patterns and decrypting layers of security. Mira watched the doors and windows constantly, her senses sharp, anticipating danger. Occasionally, the faint hum of a drone would pass outside, making them both tense. Finally, a breakthrough came. Arjun had managed to bypass the first layer of encryption, revealing part of the backdoor. The AI's logic was unlike anything he had ever seen, rigid, precise, but also strangely predictable. "Here it is," he whispered, excitement and fear mingling in his voice. "We can control it, but only if we understand it fully. If we make one wrong move, it could lock us out or worse, alert the intruders." Mira leaned over, studying the screen. "Then we need a plan, step by step. Carefully, don't rush." They began working systematically, testing sequences, running simulations, and analyzing the AI's responses. Every action had consequences. Every small success felt like a battle won, and every mistake could have catastrophic results. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from outside the lab. Both of them froze. "What was that?" Mira whispered. Arjun peeked through the dusty window and saw a shadow moving quickly across the yard. Someone was trying to break in. The corporate spies had found them, or at least sent a team to check the abandoned lab. "Stay calm," Arjun said. "We're still safe inside, but we need to be ready for them." Mira nodded, her hands gripping the edge of a metal table. "We can't let them take the AI. Not after everything." They worked even faster, focusing on the codes and bypassing the AI's hidden defenses. Arjun noticed something remarkable. The AI, though incredibly advanced, had predictable patterns in its logic. Certain sequences could confuse it, create loopholes that only a human could see. "Machines are clever," Arjun said aloud, almost to himself. "But humans can think differently. We can see things they cannot." Mira glanced at him. "Exactly. That's why we have a chance." Outside, the shadows grew closer. Footsteps echoed, metal scraping against concrete. The intruders were methodical, trained. But inside, Arjun and Mira were creative, improvising solutions in real time, thinking 3 steps ahead. Suddenly, the AI itself responded unexpectedly. A warning flashed on Arjun's screen. Someone inside the company network had triggered a logic trap designed to confuse anyone trying to find the backdoor. "They're testing it," Arjun said. "They want to see if we're ready." Mira's eyes narrowed. "Then let's show them that humans are ready. We adapt, we improvise, we think." Arjun smiled faintly. "Exactly. Let's get this done." With precision, he began manipulating the AI's code, creating a sequence that would isolate the backdoor while keeping the AI operational. It was delicate work, requiring patience, intelligence, and intuition. Hours seemed like minutes as they worked side by side, occasionally glancing at the doors, prepared for anything. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Arjun leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," he said softly. "The backdoor is secured. No one can access it without our permission." Mira exhaled, relief washing over her face. "I can't believe it. We actually did it." Outside, the footsteps slowed, then vanished. The intruders must have realized the lab was empty or abandoned. For now, they were safe. Arjun looked at the sunrise, casting golden light through the dusty windows. The city was waking up, oblivious to the events that had unfolded in a quiet, forgotten lab. And inside, 2 humans had outsmarted not just other people, but an AI and its potential threats. Mira placed a hand on Arjun's shoulder. "You know, I canceled my wedding tonight because I had to make sure the AI was safe," she said softly. "But now I see it wasn't just about the AI. It was about trusting humans, people who can think, adapt, and fight for what matters." Arjun nodded. "Exactly, and this is just the beginning. They'll try again and we'll be ready. We know our strengths, we know what humans can do." As they packed up their equipment and prepared to leave the lab, Arjun felt a renewed sense of purpose. The AI was safe for now, the intruders had been delayed, and humanity had proven, once again, that even against the most advanced machines and schemes, human ingenuity could prevail. The city buzzed around them, unaware of the invisible battle waged within its heart. And for the first time in weeks, Arjun felt a strange calm. They had faced the unknown, and humans had won. But both he and Mira knew that this was only the first of many challenges. The chase had just begun. The city was alive with movement, but for Arjun and Mira, every street, every shadow, every neon-lit corner held potential danger. The sun had risen higher, washing the streets in a harsh white light, but it offered no comfort. Their success in securing the AI backdoor had been temporary. They both knew the intruders would not give up so easily. "Do you think they know we're still out there?" Mira asked as they walked briskly along a narrow street in the industrial district. Her eyes constantly scanned the rooftops and alleyways. Arjun shook his head, though a knot of worry tightened in his stomach. "Maybe. They'll notice the backdoor is protected now. That alone might tell them someone's interfering." Mira's jaw tightened. "Then we can't waste time. We need a safer place, somewhere even harder to find. Somewhere they won't expect." Arjun nodded. He had been thinking the same thing. The lab had been a temporary sanctuary, but it was no longer secure for long-term work. If they stayed, the intruders could eventually trace them. They needed to move quickly, using every bit of human intuition that machines could never predict. They ducked into a side alley, hidden from the main road. Hovercars passed overhead, and pedestrians streamed by, oblivious to the hidden battle unfolding in their midst. Arjun felt a mix of adrenaline and excitement. This was no longer about coding or theory. This was about strategy, improvisation, and survival, the purest form of human skill. "I have an idea," Arjun said quietly. "There's an old communications tower outside the city. It's abandoned, but it has backup power and network isolation. If we can reach it, we can work on the AI securely and they won't be able to trace us easily." Mira's eyes lit up. "Good, but getting there won't be easy. The intruders will anticipate roads and highways. We'll need to take unconventional routes, side alleys, rooftops, anything to avoid detection." Arjun smiled faintly. "Exactly. That's why humans have the edge. We can improvise." They moved quickly, sticking to shadows, hopping over fences, and weaving through narrow streets. Every now and then, Arjun glanced at his portable monitor. The AI was still secure for now, but any wrong step could alert the intruders. They couldn't afford mistakes. As they approached a quieter district, a sudden whirring sound made them stop. Small drones, camouflaged against the sunlight, hovered above the street. Their sensors were scanning the area for movement. "Stay low," Arjun whispered, pointing to a narrow passage between two buildings. "We can lose them here." Mira ducked immediately, following his lead. They crawled through the alley, avoiding puddles and loose debris. One drone passed directly above, its sensors sweeping the area. Arjun held his breath, barely moving. The drone continued, unable to detect them. "That was close," Mira muttered once the drone disappeared. "Too close," Arjun nodded, his eyes scanning the rooftops. "They're learning. They'll get smarter after every failed attempt. We have to be faster and more creative." They reached a hidden stairway leading to the rooftop of an abandoned warehouse. From there, they could see the city sprawling beneath them. The view was beautiful, but there was no time to admire it. They had a long way to go before reaching the communications tower. "Rooftops will be faster," Arjun said, testing a loose board. "We can avoid streets and drones this way," Mira nodded. "Let's go." Carefully, they moved across the rooftops, jumping gaps and ducking behind vents. The city stretched beneath them, alive and indifferent to their struggle. Every jump, every careful step, required coordination and quick thinking. A slip could mean discovery, or worse. Halfway to the tower, they heard the distant sound of footsteps and engines. Someone was following them on the streets below. Arjun slowed, pointing to a narrow gap between two buildings. They won't see us here, he whispered. Humans can hide in places machines aren't programmed to check. Mira followed, crouching as they slipped into the gap. Below, the intruders continued their search, moving methodically but unaware of the hidden humans above. Once they were sure the danger had passed, they continued their journey, faster now, adrenaline coursing through their veins. By late afternoon, they reached the communications tower, a tall, isolated structure standing against the skyline. Its metal frame glinted in the sunlight, and the doors were rusted but sturdy. Mira tested the lock. Surprisingly, it opened easily with a keycard she had kept hidden from the office. Inside, the tower was silent except for the hum of backup generators. Dust covered every surface, and old control panels lined the walls. But it was perfect, isolated, secure, and almost impossible to trace. Arjun set up his laptop immediately, connecting to the tower's isolated systems. The AI's code glowed on the screen, lines moving like living creatures. Outside, the city was unaware of the humans working against time, but inside, every second mattered. Mira watched the door, alert for any sign of intrusion. "They'll come looking," she said quietly. "We can't assume this is over." Arjun nodded. "I know. But we've bought some time, and time is all we need to outthink them." They worked through the afternoon, testing algorithms, running simulations, and analyzing the AI's responses. The intruders outside were persistent, but human intuition allowed them to anticipate every move. Every time a drone flew nearby, they adjusted their position, staying hidden and unseen. Suddenly, an alert popped up on Arjun's screen. Someone was attempting a remote hack on the AI. "They found us," Arjun whispered, eyes fixed on the monitor. "They're trying to break in remotely." Mira's fingers flew across the keyboard. "Can you stop it?" Arjun nodded. "I think so. Watch this." He typed rapidly, creating a digital trap that would block the intruders and feed them false data. The AI's backdoor was now protected by layers of logic puzzles, only solvable with human reasoning. Outside, the intruders, drones, hovered, scanning, waiting for any sign of movement. But inside, humans were improvising in ways machines could never predict. Hours passed. The sun began to set, casting orange and red hues across the city. Arjun and Mira were exhausted, but they had made progress. The AI was more secure than ever, the intruders were frustrated, and for now the humans had the upper hand. But just as they were about to take a short break, a loud crash echoed from outside. The building trembled slightly and dust fell from the ceiling. Someone or something was trying to force their way in. "Stay calm," Arjun whispered, reaching for a small tool kit. "We might have to defend the tower until we can move the AI safely." Mira's eyes were sharp, alert. "We're ready. Humans adapt. We'll handle this." The intruders were relentless, pounding on the doors, trying to find entry points. But Arjun had anticipated this. He and Mira had prepared escape routes, hidden exits, and distractions. Every move they made was calculated, every action designed to buy them precious minutes. Inside, they continued their work, coordinating perfectly. Arjun manipulated the AI's code, feeding false signals to the intruders, while Mira kept track of their attempts to breach the tower. Human intelligence and creativity were winning against brute force and machines. By nightfall, the intruders gave up, at least temporarily. The city was dark, quiet, and oblivious to the events unfolding in the abandoned tower. Arjun and Mira allowed themselves a small sigh of relief. "We did it," Mira said softly, "for now, but we can't let them get another chance." Arjun nodded. "We'll have to move the AI to a more secure location soon, but tonight humans won. Our intelligence, creativity, and adaptability are stronger than any machine or spy network." Mira smiled faintly. "Exactly. They can plan, they can predict, but humans can think outside the box, and that's what makes us unbeatable." They packed up their equipment, preparing for the next stage of their mission. The city slept beneath them, unaware of the hidden battle. And for now, humanity had shown its true strength: intelligence, courage, and the ability to outthink even the most advanced technology. Arjun looked at Mira, determination in his eyes. "We'll keep moving, keep adapting, and keep winning, no matter what comes next." Mira nodded. "Together we're unstoppable." And as the night settled over the city, the hunt continued. But humans had proven, once again, that no matter the challenge, no matter the machine, ingenuity and courage could triumph. Night had fully settled over the city, casting long shadows across the abandoned communication tower. Inside, Arjun and Mira worked in silence, the hum of the backup generators filling the room. Their progress had been steady, but both knew the intruders would not wait long before attempting another strike. Every second counted. Arjun's fingers flew across the keyboard, running simulations and testing the AI's new protective sequences. Every code line mattered. Every small adjustment could mean the difference between victory and failure. Mira paced the room, glancing at the door and windows. "We've delayed them, yes," she said quietly, "but they'll come back stronger, smarter. They're not giving up." Arjun nodded without looking up. "Let them try. Humans can think in ways machines cannot. That's our edge." Suddenly, the lights flickered. The soft hum of the generator seemed to change pitch, almost as if something or someone was interfering. A low, mechanical sound echoed from the city streets outside. "They're here," Mira whispered. Arjun didn't respond immediately. Instead, he focused on the screen. The AI's protective barriers had detected unusual activity in the network. The intruders were trying a coordinated assault, combining drones, remote hacking, and physical surveillance. "This is it," Arjun said finally. "They want the AI now. We need to act fast." Mira grabbed a small flashlight and peered out a nearby window. The city's rooftops were alive with movement. Drones hovered in the distance, scanning the area, and shadowy figures moved along the streets below. The intruders were not leaving until they had succeeded. Arjun quickly implemented a countermeasure. He created a sequence in the AI that would feed false signals to any unauthorized access attempts, making the intruders believe the system was still vulnerable. "They'll think they're winning," he said quietly, "but we'll be ready for them when they come closer." Mira nodded. "Good, but what if they try to force their way inside?" Arjun thought for a moment, then smiled faintly. "Then we show them that humans don't rely solely on walls or locks. We improvise." Hours passed, the tension building with every passing minute. Outside, the intruders' drones hovered, scanning, waiting, trying to anticipate the humans' next move. Inside, Arjun and Mira prepared traps and decoys. Every tool, every scrap of equipment in the tower was repurposed as a potential defensive mechanism. Finally, a loud crash shook the building. Someone had forced open a secondary entrance. Dust fell from the ceiling and the metallic echo of footsteps grew louder. "They're inside," Mira whispered, gripping a metal rod she had found in a storage room. Arjun stayed calm, focusing on the AI interface. "Stay close. Remember, we can't fight them physically, but we can outthink them." The first intruder entered, a tall figure in a black tactical suit, scanning the room with a handheld device. The AI, manipulated by Arjun's code, fed the intruder false readings, creating the illusion of multiple hidden systems and fake escape routes. Confused, the intruder moved cautiously, checking every corner. That's when Arjun and Mira acted. Using the tower's old machinery and cables, they created temporary barriers and tripwires. Nothing deadly, just clever obstacles that slowed and disoriented the intruders. "Humans can adapt," Arjun muttered. "They can think creatively. Machines can't." Mira moved silently across the room, her sharp eyes spotting the intruder's weaknesses. When he tried to advance, she triggered a loose crate, sending it sliding across the floor. The intruder stumbled, giving them precious seconds to adjust the AI's defense systems. One by one, more intruders entered. Each time, Arjun and Mira used the same principle: confuse, delay, and outthink. The AI was their ally, but it needed human guidance. Its advanced logic could anticipate brute force, but not unpredictable human behavior. Hours blurred. The intruders became frustrated, their movements less coordinated. Every failed attempt fed Arjun's confidence. "We can win this," he whispered to Mira. "They can plan, but humans can improvise. That's what makes us unstoppable." Mira nodded, her face illuminated by the glow of the computer screens. "Exactly. They can't predict everything we do. They can't replicate intuition." Outside, the city's lights reflected in the tower's windows. The intruders had positioned drones to observe from the rooftops, but even these were vulnerable. Arjun quickly hacked into one of the drone's weak signals, creating false movement patterns. The drones reported phantom locations of Arjun and Mira, leading the intruders into confusion. Suddenly, the AI itself began to act. It had learned from Arjun's manipulations and started creating its own defensive sequences, blocking unauthorized access and isolating key data. "This is it," Arjun said with a mix of awe and relief. "The AI is working with us now, not against us." Mira watched the screens carefully. "We taught it ethics and human priorities. It's following our logic, protecting what matters." The intruders, realizing they were being misled, grew desperate. They attempted to hack directly into the tower's systems, but every move was anticipated by Arjun and the AI. Doors closed automatically, lights flickered, and false alarms triggered decoy responses. Arjun's mind raced. "We need to end this tonight. We can't keep running simulations forever. We have to force them to retreat." Mira nodded. "We'll use the AI's predictive capabilities against them. We know their patterns. Humans can exploit weaknesses machines and people rely on." They worked together, combining human intuition with AI precision. The intruders, thinking they had the advantage, walked into a carefully planned digital trap. Their systems were locked, false signals fed into their monitors, and their own drones were confused by phantom readings. The intruders' frustration was visible, even from a distance. They had underestimated the humans' ability to adapt, improvise, and think unpredictably. Arjun took a deep breath. "It's time for the final step." He typed rapidly, initiating a full lockdown of the AI's systems outside the tower. This move would make it impossible for the intruders to access the AI without triggering irreversible alerts. Mira watched, tense. "Are you sure this will work?" "I'm sure," Arjun replied. "Humans are unpredictable, machines are precise. When we combine both, we create something they cannot overcome." The intruders attempted one last attack, moving directly toward the tower, but Arjun and Mira were ready. Using a combination of physical obstacles, false digital signals, and rapid adaptation, they slowed the intruders enough for city security drones to intercept. Outside, the intruders were captured or forced to retreat, their plans completely foiled. The city remained unaware, its citizens blissfully oblivious to the invisible war waged to protect their future. Inside the tower, Arjun and Mira finally allowed themselves a moment to breathe. The AI hummed quietly, now fully aligned with their ethical priorities and protected against external threats. "We did it," Mira said softly, relief flooding her voice. "We actually did it." Arjun nodded, exhausted but exhilarated. "Humans won. Intelligence, creativity, and courage, nothing can match it." Mira smiled faintly. "Exactly. Machines can calculate, predict, and enforce rules, but humans can think beyond rules. That's why we'll always have the edge." For a moment, they simply sat in silence, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. They had faced overwhelming odds, intruders, and potential disasters, and yet humans had prevailed. Creativity, courage, and intuition had triumphed over brute force and rigid logic. but both knew that the fight was far from over. The AI was secure for now, but there were always threats, always challenges. Yet for tonight, humans had proven their strength in the most extraordinary way. Arjun looked at Mira. We'll need to stay vigilant. This is only one battle, but we've shown what humans can do when we combine intelligence with courage. Mira nodded. And we'll face the next challenge together. No machine, no intruder, no threat can outthink us. The night continued, quiet and calm, as if the city itself was acknowledging their victory. And inside the tower, two humans had shown that ingenuity, strategy, and determination could overcome even the most advanced threats. The turning point had been reached. The intruders were delayed, the AI was secured, and humanity had once again proven its strength, not through violence or force, but through thought, creativity, and adaptability. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But for now, the humans had won, and the AI had been safeguarded, not just by technology, but by the brilliance of the people who understood its value and the courage to protect it. The city was quiet in the early morning, bathed in the soft glow of dawn. Inside the communications tower, Arjun and Mira were exhausted but alert. The previous night's events had pushed them to the limit, hours of coding, running simulations, avoiding intruders, and defending the AI with strategy and creativity. But for the first time there was a sense of calm. The immediate danger had passed and the AI was secure. Arjun leaned back in his chair, rubbing his tired eyes. "We did it, Mira," he said quietly. "The intruders are gone. The AI is safe, for now at least." Mira nodded, her expression a mixture of relief and determination. "It's not just safe. It's protected in a way that no one outside of us can access it, and we've set up monitoring to detect any future threats immediately." Arjun smiled faintly. "I never imagined my nights at the office would end like this." Mira laughed softly. "Neither did I, but this proves something important. Humans have the ability to adapt, think creatively, and solve problems no machine or intruder can anticipate." They spent the next few hours finalizing the AI's security. Arjun created multiple layers of encryption, firewalls, and decoy systems. Mira verified every step, ensuring that the AI would remain under their control and aligned with human priorities. Together, they worked like a well-oiled team, combining technical skill with human intuition. By mid-morning, their work was complete. The AI hummed quietly on its isolated servers, fully secure and aligned with ethical protocols. The intruders had been delayed long enough to ensure they could no longer access the system. The city was safe. Mira stood by the window looking out at the rising sun. "It's strange," she said softly. "After all the chaos, the city continues as if nothing happened." "People don't know how close they were to disaster." Arjun nodded. "That's always the way it is. The world doesn't see the battles fought behind the scenes, but we know, and that's what matters." Mira turned to him, a smile on her face. "You've done more than anyone could imagine, Arjun. You used your intelligence, creativity, and courage to protect something far bigger than yourself. Humanity owes you a debt." Arjun felt a flush of pride but shook his head. "We both did this, humans working together. That's the real power. One person alone can't do what we did." Mira nodded. "Exactly. This is the strength of humanity. We adapt, we think, we overcome. Machines and threats can be strong, but they cannot replicate our intuition, our creativity, or our courage." They paused for a moment, letting the weight of their achievement sink in. Hours of tension, fear, and relentless effort had culminated in victory. The intruders had failed, the AI was secure, and humanity had proven its worth. Arjun broke the silence. "What happens now?" "We can't stay in this tower forever." Mira nodded thoughtfully. "No, we can't, but we have set up remote monitoring and contingency plans. The AI can now operate securely from multiple locations, and any attempt to access it without authorization will trigger alerts immediately." Arjun smiled faintly. "Then we've truly won, for now at least." Mira walked over to the window, gazing at the city. And the best part is this, the AI isn't just safe. It's now capable of helping people. Energy distribution, disaster response, resource management, it can make the world better, not just safer. Arjun felt a deep sense of satisfaction. They had protected more than a machine. They had safeguarded humanity's potential. The AI, once a target for greed and control, was now a tool for progress, guided by humans who understood both its power and its responsibility. The day passed quietly. They took turns resting, eating, and checking the AI systems. Occasionally, a faint signal would appear on Arjun's monitor, a probe from an unknown source, but every attempt was intercepted and neutralized. Their preparations had been thorough, and their teamwork had been flawless. By evening, the city's lights reflected off the tower's metal walls, casting long shadows inside the quiet room. Arjun and Mira stood side by side, watching the skyline. The battle had been long, exhausting, and dangerous, but they had emerged victorious. Mira spoke softly. You know, Arjun, tonight and yesterday, it wasn't just about technology or strategy. It was about human qualities, creativity, courage, adaptability. That's what gave us the edge, Arjun nodded. I know. We relied on our minds, our intuition, and our ability to improvise. Machines and intruders couldn't match that. They reflected on the journey they had taken, from a quiet midnight knock to a climactic confrontation with determined enemies and an unpredictable AI. Every challenge had tested them. Every obstacle had pushed them to think differently. And in the end, humans had prevailed. Mira smiled. This proves that even in a world of machines and advanced technology, humans remain the most important factor, not brute strength, not pure logic, not even advanced intelligence, but our ability to think creatively and act courageously. Arjun returned the smile. Exactly, that's humanity, and tonight we've shown it can overcome anything. As night fell, the city below continued its endless rhythm. Citizens went about their lives, unaware of the hidden battle fought to protect their future. But for Arjun and Mira, the victory was real and tangible. They had not only secured the AI but had demonstrated the true power of human intelligence and collaboration. Mira placed a hand on Arjun's shoulder. Rest now. Tomorrow we plan for the long term. But tonight we celebrate victory. Arjun nodded, feeling a rare moment of peace. They had faced seemingly impossible odds, yet human ingenuity and courage had prevailed. They had outsmarted the intruders, safeguarded the AI, and shown that even in the most challenging situations, humans could triumph. The dawn of a new day brought hope and promise. The AI would now serve humanity, guided by ethical principles and protected from those who sought to misuse it. And the humans who had risked everything to secure it would be remembered, not just for their bravery, but for their intelligence, creativity, and unwavering commitment to doing what was right. Mira and Arjun finally left the tower together, stepping onto the rooftop as the first light of morning painted the sky. The city stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the stakes they had faced and the lives they had safeguarded. Arjun looked out at the skyline. We did it, humanity won. Mira smiled, her eyes reflecting the rising sun. Yes, and we'll continue to win as long as humans keep thinking, adapting, and never giving up. They turned to leave the rooftop, their steps light but purposeful. The city awaited, full of challenges and opportunities. But they had proven one undeniable truth. Human creativity, courage, and intelligence could overcome even the most advanced threats. And as they walked into the new day, both knew that their victory was more than just securing an AI. It was a testament to humanity itself, a reminder that no matter the obstacles, no matter the dangers, humans had the power to triumph. The intruders were gone, the AI was secure, and the future was in human hands. For Arjun and Mira, this was the ultimate victory, and the world, unknowingly, owed its safety to the brilliance, courage and ingenuity of two humans who refuse to be outsmarted.